Mike Gould here, Mayor of Hounds Town USA, home to the happiest dogs on earth. Today we're working with our friend Marley. She's here for our 12-day boarding school program, and we're just putting some videos together to reinforce what we do. The first thing we do, I understand she suffers from separation anxiety. She has a housebreaking issue, which it's going to be difficult for us, frankly, to resolve here because this isn't her house. So housebreaking is very particular to the homeowner's house. But what we are going to do is keep her on a strict feeding schedule and require her to use a crate. So we got to go backwards. It's always more difficult to go back and rehabilitate than it is to shape behavior. So keeping it with our typical boot camp boarding school, the first lesson that has to be learned is she can't pull on a leash. The leash and collar has to be on at all times. So we're going to correct bad behavior physically, but not abusively. Gentle corrections, and then when we get a good behavior, we're not giving treats. We're giving love, physical love, and verbal praise. So with where we're at right now, she's on her place. We're teaching her to go to a designated spot and stay there. So there's a lot of little components. It's like a puzzle. You got to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. The leash and collar has to stay on all the time. When I release her from this position, I'm going to use the words or sounds. Okay, okay. So okay is the sound to release her. And you watch her body language. When she jumps, Jackie's raised her leg. And we just see so we have all kinds of things available to her. So the separation anxiety comes from a human being not disconnecting. So if you're always touching, looking, feeling, feeding, the dog becomes dependent on you. Get low. When we get low, the dog comes to us. So now she's wandering free with our leash. Now if I want to control her, I just step on the leash. The leash stays on all the time when the dog's under your supervision. I'm going to ask her to go place. Good girl, good girl, good girl. She's a little reluctant. Good girl, good girl. I get low. Good girl. Go place. Go place. Good girl, good. And she has to be taught this. So from the viewer, it might look a little bit funny, but I'm insisting that this behavior. So what's happened is I'm guessing the homeowner let her do what she wanted. Free roaming. We call it a free roaming dog. So now when she's in boot camp, she has to abide by certain structure. So anyway, this is it. Leash, loose leash. We're going to take her out into our parking lot and walk a little bit, teaching her to walk on our side without pulling, never pulling. And then we're going to go inside and demonstrate how she should go to her place when she's told to. So we're going to cut and take a walk. So movement, sound, and body language is everything to a dog. So we have to realize if there's a car with carbon monoxide coming out of it, there's sounds over there. The dog don't know any of that. There's barking dogs, there's odor. We understand that, but the dog doesn't. So she has to be taught specifically to trust the leader and work through these things. So I sat her down in the shade. Obviously, it's hot out. We don't want to put her in hot asphalt. I love her. When I move, she's required to move like a pack of dogs, right? So when the head dog, the alpha dog moves, the subordinate members move. So we're going to make some sounds. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Marley. Good girl, Marley. Good girl. What you should see is that I'm relaxed. There's no tension. I'm not doing this. I turn. She needs to get out of my way. Good girl. She's a little on the shy side because obviously these things haven't been taught. I stop. Marley, sit. She sits. This is a requirement. It's not voluntary. She has to do it. I step out my left. She moves with me. And we reinforce this every day. And we build on it, build on it, build on it. I'm coming here. I'm going to ask her to sit. Marley, sit. If she doesn't sit, a little correction. Sit. Marley, sit. A little correction. Watch. Sit. Marley. Good girl. She's not connecting the dots. And this is not unusual. An adult dog that's never been required to do anything or was doing it for the treat, and she don't see the treat, she doesn't understand why she should sit. Not to mention all the ambient sounds, the dogs barking. This is a bus terminal. This is a lot of stuff happening here. Love good behavior. We correct bad behavior gently. Because it's not that she's being disobedient. She just doesn't understand what we want. And we can't explain it to her in English. She don't speak English. So we're going to cut, and we're going to go inside and see what that looks like. So as we go inside, we require her to sit, not just pull us around. So we're giving her things to do. I have to open the door. What you see is, though, relaxed. There's no tension in my body. When you put tension in your body, it's concerning to a dog. Dog shouldn't be tethered to anything. What's the relaxed? And understand, there's sounds just to this, high-pitched sounds. Now when I open the door, I'm assuming she might get up. If she does, I'm going to correct her. But she didn't, so I praise her. It's that simple. I react to her behavior. So it's either a reaction is a praise or correction. There's not really much deviation. We're going to go inside, I'm going to walk with my left foot, and she's going to come with me. This is not about strength or talking, because your dogs don't talk, and I'm not applying any strength whatsoever. I'm stepping out my left foot, and she's coming with me, and we're going inside. All right, so now we're inside. Nothing's really changed. The leash and collar stay on the dog when the dog is under your supervision. That means when she's wandering around the house, you just drop the leash. This way she can't run and hide from you. And I think she might have a tendency to do that. So the other behavior we're going to teach inside is teaching the dog to go place. I know she goes in and out of her own crate, but she has to stay there. It looks like this. Go place. She goes in. We shut the door. The only place the dog gets a morsel of food ever. And this is, of course, this isn't her crate, so it's a little bit alarming to her. And she's not used to having the door shut. We're going to work through this with her. That's the problem, is kind of rehabilitating her ideas of what crates are and so forth. I'm going to open the crate, but I'm just going to tap it. I'm not going to let her out. So remember, corrections and love. She's just not allowed to bolt out of her crate. So today we're going to keep it simple. Okay, girl. Okay, girl. And we release her. Good girl. And then I get down and I love her. Good girl. And she's staying in my energy field. She's not running. And obviously this isn't her house. This is a very chaotic place right now. Now, I love, when I want her back in, I'm just going to guide her in that direction. It's like this. Marley, go place. Good girl. And she goes in. You have to close her in. And if we keep her on a very regulated feeding schedule, now she's having her biscuit. The only place the dog gets a morsel of food, including our regular meals, is inside the crate. So this way, if we control the food going into her body, we know what time it is, we put food in her. We know if she was out on the field or the backyard and she's pooping, we know that's when she needs to be outside. So if she shouldn't be getting food all over the place. Now when I open the crate door, she might stand up thinking that she's supposed to come out. But she's not. So this is what we're going to work on. When she sits down, I'm going to let her out. Okay, girl. Good girl. Good. So this is a work in progress. It's not about training the dog. And she's not really disobedient. She's more misunderstanding life. Good girl. You get low, you love the dog. Good girl, are you, Marley? Good girl. Good girl. And this is an important component, especially for my relationship with the dog. So the thing that humans can do and dogs really can't is adjust their height. So I'm pretty happy with this. This is today's Thursday. We've been working on this since I think Saturday or Sunday. It's constant reinforcement. It always stays the same. It never changes. And it's the hard part for the pet owner. The hard part for the pet owner is the consistency. So if you think like a dog and act like a dog, the dog will understand you. Now I hear the big bad wolf coming, so it's time for her to go in her cave. Go place. Good. That's how you have to think. We were outside our cave playing. Good. She has to reverse this behavior. Then she sits back, and I let her out. Okay. Okay is the release command. Good girl. She's a little unsteady right now, but the more consistent we are, the better she's going to be. So that's today. We're wrapping up. Heel. Never pressure on the leash. When she pulls, a little snap. That's all it is. She's not disobedient. She just doesn't understand. You have to set new rules and new boundaries. So I'm guessing she's had the run of the house. Good girl. And you have to take ownership of your house back. And then when you do that, you can start giving it away again. But right now, things are out of whack. So we're going to work on that. So far, so good. No problems. It's just consistency.